Welcome to Wonder Tales for Kids, where magical stories come alive to spark young imaginations. Our enchanting tales teach valuable lessons about creativity, kindness, and discovery through captivating adventures. Each story is carefully crafted to inspire children to explore their world with wonder and compassion. Join our growing community of little dreamers by clicking the subscribe button and ringing the bell. Your support helps us create more heartwarming stories that make bedtime special. Today's story takes us deep into the kindness forest, where a little squirrel named Maple discovers how one small act of sharing can transform an entire woodland community. Together, we'll meet wise creatures who learn that helping each other creates the strongest bonds of all. This gentle tale will show us how kindness spreads like ripples in a pond, touching every heart it meets. So settle in comfortably as we begin our journey into this magical forest. In a peaceful corner of the world we find the kindness forest, where golden sunlight danced through emerald leaves, creating patterns on the mossy ground below. Ancient oak trees stretched their mighty branches like protective arms over the woodland creatures who called this magical place home. The air smelled sweetly of pine needles and wildflowers, while a gentle breeze carried the cheerful songs of birds and the soft rustling of leaves, creating nature's own lullaby. Among the busy residents was Maple, a bright-eyed squirrel with a fluffy red tail that bounced as she scampered from branch to branch. Every morning she would dash through the canopy, her tiny paws gripping the bark as she searched for the plumpest acorns. Below her, a wise old tortoise moved slowly through the ferns, while high above, an observant owl watched everything with knowing eyes. Blue jays chattered playfully, filling the forest with joyful energy. Maple's tiny paws trembled as she gazed at the small pile of acorns before her. Winter was coming fast, and this meagre collection was all she had managed to gather. Each precious acorn meant another day of survival through the cold months ahead. She counted them carefully. 1, 2, 3, only 7 acorns remained. Her heart sank as she realized how little food she had stored away for the harsh season approaching. A soft whimper caught Maple's attention. Near the old oak tree, a small hedgehog shivered in the autumn breeze. His spines quivered with cold, and his dark eyes looked weary with hunger. Maple watched as he searched desperately among the fallen leaves, finding nothing but dry twigs and empty shells. The hedgehog's tiny body shook harder, and Maple felt a tug at her heart. Someone needed help more than she needed those acorns. Without another thought, Maple scooped up 5 of her precious acorns and scampered toward the hedgehog. "Here, friend," she said softly, placing the acorns before him. The hedgehog's eyes widened in disbelief, then filled with grateful tears. "But these are yours," he whispered. Maple smiled warmly. "Now they're ours to share." As the hedgehog nibbled gratefully, Maple felt a strange warmth spreading through her chest, warmer than any acorn could ever make her feel. Something magical happened in that moment. The golden afternoon sun seemed to shine brighter, casting dancing rays through the forest canopy. Birds chirped more sweetly, and even the wind whispered gentler through the trees. The hedgehog's joy was contagious, and Maple realized her heart felt fuller than her storage ever could. As they shared the simple meal together, the entire forest seemed to glow with the warmth of kindness, a warmth that no winter could ever steal away. High in the ancient oak tree, the wise old owl ruffled her feathers and blinked her large amber eyes. She had witnessed many seasons in the forest, but something special was happening below. The story of Maple's generosity with the hungry hedgehog had spread like morning sunlight through the branches. Forest creatures whispered about it in their burrows and nests, each one touched by the simple act of sharing those precious acorns. Down on the mossy forest path, the old tortoise paused in his steady journey. He had heard the blue jays chattering excitedly about Maple's kindness. In all his years of slow and careful steps through these woods, he had learned that true change moves like he does, deliberately and with purpose. He nodded his ancient head thoughtfully, feeling a warm stirring in his shell. Perhaps there was something even he could do to help. The blue jays fluttered from branch to branch, their bright feathers catching the dappled sunlight. They chirped and chattered with growing excitement, wondering aloud how they too might spread kindness through the forest. One suggested carrying messages of cheer to lonely creatures. The other thought of sharing the locations of the best berry bushes. Their enthusiasm was contagious, and soon other birds joined their cheerful planning session in the treetops. As the sun filtered through the leaves, something beautiful was taking root in the forest community. The kindness that began with Maple's simple gift was growing like a seedling reaching for light. Each creature, from the smallest mouse to the wisest owl, began to look for ways to help their neighbours. The forest itself seemed to hum with a new energy, the energy of caring hearts working together. The morning sun painted golden streaks through the forest canopy as word of Maple's kindness spread from tree to tree. The blue jays, who had witnessed her generosity, chirped excitedly to one another. They gazed at their collection of beautiful feathers, soft blues and whites that shimmered in the light. Without hesitation, they gathered their most precious ones and flew to a nearby nest where a young sparrow shivered in the cold. Down below, the old tortoise watched with wise eyes as the jays tucked their feathers around the grateful sparrow. Something stirred in his ancient heart. He remembered the tangled path near the brook where smaller creatures often stumbled. With slow but determined steps, he began pushing aside fallen branches and smoothing the earth with his strong shell. Each movement was deliberate, creating a safe passage for all who would follow. As the day unfolded, the forest seemed to hum with a new energy. A rabbit shared fresh clover with a tired mouse. An owl hooted directions to a lost butterfly. Even the usually grumpy badger offered shelter to a family of beetles during a sudden rain shower. Each act of kindness was like a tiny spark, and together they created a warm glow that spread through every corner of their woodland home. By sunset, the forest felt different, brighter somehow, though the light was fading. The animals gathered in the clearing, their eyes shining with understanding. They had discovered something magical that day. When each creature cared for another, their whole world became warmer and safer. The trees seemed to stand taller, the flowers bloomed brighter, and every heart felt lighter. This was the power of kindness, transforming their forest into a true home. The golden afternoon light suddenly dimmed as thick, heavy clouds rolled across the sky. Maple noticed the leaves trembling in an unusual way, and the air felt different, charged with something powerful. The forest grew eerily quiet, as if every creature sensed what was coming. Even the cheerful blue jays stopped their singing, perching nervously on swaying branches. A low rumble echoed through the trees, growing louder with each passing moment. Then the wind arrived, howling like a wild beast through the forest canopy. Rain began to fall, first as gentle drops, then as a torrential downpour that pelted leaves and soaked the forest floor. The old oak tree groaned under the force, its mighty branches bending dangerously. Small animals scurried for cover as their cozy homes shook and swayed. Fear spread quickly through the forest. This was no ordinary storm. But in that moment of fear, something remarkable happened. The hedgehog remembered Maple's kindness when she shared her acorns. The owl recalled how the tortoise had helped him. Each animal thought of the times they had helped one another, and those memories sparked courage in their hearts. Instead of hiding alone, they began calling out to each other through the storm, checking if everyone was safe and offering shelter. The animals huddled together in the largest, safest burrow they could find. The blue jays nestled close to the hedgehog, while Maple and the tortoise made room for smaller creatures. They shared their warmth and whispered words of comfort as the storm raged outside. Though the wind howled and rain poured, they felt safer together. Their acts of kindness had created bonds stronger than any storm could break. The thunder faded to a gentle rumble, and the rain slowed to tiny droplets. Maple peeked out from her oak tree shelter. The forest looked different now. Puddles sparkled everywhere, and branches lay scattered on the ground. Some nests had tumbled from their perches, and several burrows were filled with muddy water. The animals emerged slowly, surveying the damage with worried eyes. The wise owl hooted softly from his branch. "We have work to do, friends." The blue jays chirped in agreement, already gathering twigs for rebuilding. The hedgehog waddled over to help the tortoise clear mud from his home. Maple scampered down, her bushy tail dripping, and began collecting the softest moss she could find. Every creature, big and small, found a way to help. Together they worked through the afternoon. The squirrels passed branches up to the birds, who wove new nests with care. The hedgehog used his strong paws to dig new drainage paths. Even the smallest mice helped by sorting dry leaves for bedding. As they worked side by side, they shared stories and songs, turning the hard work into something almost joyful, something meaningful. By sunset, the forest looked even better than before. New nests sat snugly in the trees, burrows were clean and cozy, and everyone had helped create something wonderful. The animals gathered in the clearing, tired but happy. They had discovered that working together made them stronger than any storm. The kindness they had planted in their forest had grown into something unbreakable, true friendship. The morning sun painted golden stripes through the forest canopy as excited chatter filled the air. Maple the squirrel scampered from tree to tree, hanging garlands of wildflowers, while the hedgehog below arranged colourful autumn leaves in beautiful patterns. Today was special. Today was the very first Kindness Festival, a celebration of the friendship and unity that had transformed their beloved forest home. The wise owl perched on a high branch, directing the decorations with gentle hoots of encouragement. The blue jays flew back and forth, carrying ribbons made from soft grass to drape between the trees. Even the slow tortoise contributed, carefully placing smooth pebbles in a circle where everyone would gather. Each creature brought their own special touch, turning the ordinary forest clearing into a magical wonderland. As the decorations came together, delicious smells began wafting through the air. The animals had prepared their favourite treats to share: acorn cookies from Maple, berry tarts from the hedgehog, and fresh spring water collected by the blue jays in hollow nutshells. The tortoise had gathered the sweetest clover leaves, while the owl contributed crunchy seeds from his secret stash. Every dish told a story of generosity. When evening arrived, the forest came alive with music. The animals discovered that hollow logs made wonderful drums when tapped with paws and wings. The wind whistling through specially arranged branches created a gentle melody. They played games, shared stories, and danced under the stars. As laughter echoed through the trees, every creature felt the warmth of belonging to this special community bound by kindness. The morning sun painted the forest in golden hues, but something was different now. Every tree seemed to glow with warmth, every flower bloomed brighter. The kindness that started with Maple's shared acorns had spread like morning light through branches. Birds chirped sweeter melodies, and even the wind whispered gentler through the leaves. The Kindness Forest had truly earned its name, transformed by countless acts of caring that touched every corner of the woods. The animals gathered in their favourite clearing, no longer strangers but a true forest family. The owl perched beside the hedgehog, while the tortoise rested near the blue jays. Each creature carried memories of help, given and received, storms weathered together, homes rebuilt with many paws and wings. They had discovered that kindness wasn't just about sharing acorns or shelter. It was about creating a home where everyone belonged, where no one faced troubles alone. As twilight approached, the forest seemed to hum with contentment. Fireflies danced between the trees, their light joining the warm glow that kindness had brought. The animals settled into peaceful rest, knowing that tomorrow would bring new chances to care for one another. In this forest, helping had become as natural as breathing. Every creature, from the tiniest ant to the wisest owl, understood they were part of something beautiful, a community bound by compassion. Maple sat on her favourite branch, gazing at the transformed forest with pride swelling in her tiny heart. Who could have imagined that sharing a few acorns would change everything? The forest that once echoed with lonely sounds now rang with friendship and joy. She smiled, remembering how one small act of kindness had grown into something magnificent. The Kindness Forest would forever shine with the light of caring hearts, a testament to love's power.